What are you drinking?
I'm having my coffee. I'm just trying to drink it before we start because
You
I
be
don't want
clanging that
I don't want
fucking
you to
straw.
yell at me. I don't want to add
I
to
don't want to
your
yell.
frustration.
My week of relaxation has just dude. It's
Psych.
been so dumb. Did I tell you that I'm also in the midst of trying to help my mom clean out their basement?
Oh God, no.
Uh,
Oh
it's
no.
it's like
No.
not step one, but step whatever in the long lineage of
Yep.
trying to get her prepped for leaving the home. And
Sure.
I don't know about Mary, but Carol is she's got some goodies. Not all hers. It was definitely for my stepdad and just keeping. I mean, they had what 5 kids, so there's just like a ton of junk
Yeah.
down there. But
I told my mom to literally light the house on fire. That was the easiest thing I could think of.
would love nothing more than to do
Yeah.
that.
I
Yeah,
mean, honestly, it's so hard on so many levels, right? Like, it's going to be like emotional, this, that. But like, the reality of is like, there's just so many things. There's just, oh, there's
it's
stuff under the house. There's stuff
yeah
in an attic. There's
yeah.
garages. It's just wild. There's
It's
so many
honest.
things.
My mom's been doing a good job. Like we went down. It was like a week or week and a half ago. We started it, and I told her I go, we're gonna start the process. I'm gonna come over. I brought over like 3 different colored stickers, like a red, yellow, and green. And it
Yeah.
was just kind of one of these things where it was like green is go, we're getting rid of it. Red is staying here, and yellow is if you want to donate it, we'll donate it.
Sure.
And she was pretty good. She was like more go than stay. But then the other day we just hit the holiday decorations, and it was like every Santa's got to stay. Every piece of garland that goes way up high to the woman that just refractured her foot, walking to brush her teeth, sort of. I'm just like, what?
Right.
But what do you do? You just have to go. Okay, we'll keep that. I made her promise we take inventory this year with the holidays, and if we don't use the garland goes. And she was like, okay, we'll do that. But
That's the thing. It's like you have to like start like you make one, you get that the first, round of dumping
mm-hmm,
things, and then she'll probably forget at some point and then
mm-hmm.
be like, okay, now we're back at this. Is this stay, go, donate, what? I mean,
It's yeah,
yeah, it's a lot. I mean, you got to think about it. Our folks were, I mean, my folks were married just shy of 40. So it's
yeah,
like 40 years together
yeah.
at 40 years of things. And
Mm-hmm.
like they'll look at like, I don't know, like a serving tray. And I'm like, there's a crack. They're like, no, it's still good. It's like,
Oh, there was some plate that my grandmother had made for me, I guess, and it's just some little blonde kid in the snow, and she's like, I gotta keep this. And I was like, what? And she was like, well, it's you. And I go, what do you mean it's you? She's like, well, granny got this made, or granny got this made because she thought it looked like you. And I'm like, I have not seen this in 38 years. Like, what? Do you need this? This is
yeah.
quintessential for. But whatever.
We all have
So
it. I have like the tendency to like keep things. That's why I like can't stress to people enough. I was like, even like when the holidays come around, I'm like, please don't
right.
just like buy me something to buy me something. Don't buy me
Yeah,
like a
yeah, yeah.
tchotchke that's
Right.
gonna like sit on a wall and I'm gonna have like this attachment not to throw it out because I do have that tendency. I'm
Oh, I
not like
don't.
a hoarder. I just like as you get older, you're like, oh, like, well, especially it's like, well, dad bought me this and now I'm just
Mm-hmm.
going to keep it. And it's like, no, he just like got it like as like a joke or like didn't, I don't
What's
know.
all right for your dad? What if is everything that you have that somehow you tied directly back to your dad? Is that are you just like I can't get rid of it? There's no way.
I honestly don't have like a lot because like everything is like, it was never like a personal, like dad handed me this thing. It was
Mm-hmm.
always like my parents. But there's like a couple little tchotchke things that I have that I was like,
Yeah.
I just can't get rid of it now. And it's like the
Yeah.
dumbest shit. And every like time I move, I try to find like a new home for it. And now
Yeah.
I have things that literally are just like in a box. But I
Yeah.
don't have a lot. Like I live in a small space. So like
Which is
sometimes
nice.
yeah. And Jerry's like, you have so much shit to get rid of. I was like, no, if we had a house that's like a normal size, everything would have like perfectly have its place. And the handful or the one box I have of things that like I don't necessarily want to throw out, we wouldn't even know it exists in the house.
Right. Yeah,
But
it's just relative to how big your guys' place is now.
correct.
I that's why I like the living in smaller places and just haven't moved as much as I have because every single time you're just like, I don't want to deal with
Why do I
this,
have this?
so gone. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've done that like the few times that like I leave a space. I'm like, all right, this is done. You haven't looked in this drawer for like however long.
How did you pronounce that?
I knew that was coming. I
Drawer?
thought about it before.
Draw?
I say draw.
Draw? Like you
Yeah,
draw?
like a dresser drawer.
Dresser
Yeah,
drawer?
bing bong. But I do. I have these like little drawers. It like doesn't even
Good
come
job.
out organically. Like, does it sound fine to you when I say
No,
it?
because you're having to elongate
Drawer.
that just to get it out of your mouth. Yeah.
So yeah, it's like all these like or like costume jewelry, and I'm like, LOL, you wore this in 20, like 02, and it was like your fun beaded costume jewelry that you're like, this is the perfect final piece for my outfit. I'm like, why do I still have it?
I can't stand stuff. My mom and people in my family think that I'm not sentimental because I don't like stuff. That's what they told me.
Yeah.
They also told my wife at the wedding that she saved me because apparently I was a miserable asshole. So that was fun to know. Yeah.
That's funny. It's funny
Isn't
what
that
people.
fun?
Yeah.
Isn't that cute?
Thank you.
These fucking people.
Yeah, looking at me. Here comes the accent. I was like, looking at Mira.
Yeah. Jeez, dude. It's
Oh, it's
I don't
too
know.
funny.
Whatever. I'm on one with my family this week, but anyhow.
Well, it's funny.
Well, good. I'm glad somebody's enjoying it.
Well, I was going to say it's funny you bring it up because I did, like, I talk to my friends so much about dating and this and that because I think it's funny that you brought it up of what people look at you while you're single or the things they say while you're single. I've spent a lot of time alone. I've spent a lot of time in relationships, but it is funny because, like, my mom has made comments in the past. So I used to I have, like, naturally dark hair. And my mom, I'll never forget her looking at me once because I used to dye it like black. It was like before I was like going to like get anything done to my hair. And she'd be like, you know why you're single? I was like, oh, do tell. Please tell me why I am single. And she's like, it's that dark hair. It's just so, you just look so harsh. And you just like don't look like you can be like
thanks,
approached.
Mom.
And I was like, thank you, because I actually like thought I looked like really cute. And apparently I look like a mean bitch.
Troll.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm like too pale. Hair's too dark. You look like a witch. I'm like, okay. I'm just sticking with the goth thing. But I don't know.
Did you find, was that a common thread of that when you were single where people, were they consistently trying to give you tips and pointers because they thought like, well, we want to right this wrong?
Well, yeah. And I feel like I do the opposite to my friends. Like, I'm like, I am just like, I kind of tell you how it is. Like, listen, there's pros and cons to fucking everything. I almost like, I have a girlfriend that she actually puts a lot of effort into trying to find a partner. And I remember, and she actually has never had a boyfriend before.
Wait,
like she's always.
How old is this friend? Are they 13?
30, early 30s. She's had a lot of situations. Yeah, she's had like a lot of like situationships.
Please elaborate what a situation.
Well, like you're sleeping with somebody and it's just very non-committal, I would say. Like, I would describe it as like 6 months, like a year of like, we're not out, but we like hang out. Like we're not out to the public as like we're dating.
I have a lot of questions on this, but please proceed.
So anyway,
you want me to hit you with? Yeah, go.
Yeah, hit me with the questions.
Here's the question with this. So this is a friend of yours.
Sure.
She would admit this, that she's never had a relationship.
Yeah. And it bums her out. Like it's not like for lack of trying, and it's not for they're a very kind, beautiful person.
Sure.
It just has not happened.
What in her eyes is the reasoning for this? Because you said she wants this, so she's not been able to obtain it. what does she think the issue is?
Well, and that's why I think like sometimes I just I'm always giving like reassurance of like maybe it's poor timing, maybe it's I don't know, just to like self-reflect a little bit and like or I'm like
Because you've been in these situations,
of
that's why you're
course.
self-reflecting. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, like what am I doing? What am I portraying to people like when I was in my 20s say or like early 30s when I was like really single. I probably wasn't like I was going out a bunch and I was like this and that, like, yeah, like partying and like who cares? And like you're gonna get what you give, right?
Sure.
But she is putting a lot of effort in. So I just like to remind her that like it doesn't mean that you're not this, that, or whatever. You know, I think there's also like I do feel bad because I don't think there's like a full answer to like, well, I don't understand. Like I have a good job now and I live on my own and I'm doing all like the right things and working out and being healthy and not doing X, Y, and Z. She's like, those are all the things that would like attract a good partner, right? Why isn't it happening?
Well, all right. So
I don't know.
I'm interested to unpack this. I wish that this friend was on to talk with her. Her, right? I'm assuming.
Sure. Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It
she
is
knows
a
one of your
female.
good girlfriends. Yeah. So has she gone on dates or been in these like somewhat long tenured kind of hooking up, but we're not in a relationship kind of situations? And she's been interested to date the person. It's just not reciprocated. Or
Yeah,
is she
sometimes.
okay. So there have been those where she's like, you're an ideal partner. I would like to be in a relationship with you.
She's had where they're not ideal partners, I would say.
But I'm saying like
not the best fit. No, I think like I think in her in like in like a perfect world, if she could change X, Y, and Z about this person, there's a reason there's no commitment. They're not a solid chosen partner. I think that was number one.
That's slippery slope.
You know, because I've been there too, where like I've dated someone for a long period of time and just, you know, we'll just use the term dated. And there was a reason it never got to the level of like, we're in like a committed relationship because they were not, they weren't a great person.
Oh, you guys were just eating the ham together. That's what you were doing. Right?
Yeah. So like, I think for her is that like in a perfect,
I'm glad
eating
you know
the
what
ham
that means. I just
no,
made
I
it up,
don't.
You rolled with it.
I rolled with it because I was like, I mean, I get it. I mean, I think I like ham. I don't know. Ham's all right.
A lot of people like ham. Some people don't like ham. But anyhow, all right. So you've been in these and you've been rolling with it.
So like, I get it.
Been a relationship, yeah.
Yeah, and I get it. Like I was single for a really long time, and I didn't. You know, I tried the apps, and I tried the this, and I tried the that, and I don't understand. She tries everything, and she really puts herself out there. But when she gets kicked down, she's like, just gonna be fucking single forever. Like
kicked down because she's being rejected by people.
Right, rejection, which like is a part of life in every capacity, right? Like whether it's work, friendships, relationships, even people are rejected by their families. You know what I mean? Like there's so many levels of all the things, right?
Yeah.
To be rejected by your family.
Oh my God.
You're like, bye, crazies. Bye.
Yeah.
You're like free as a bird.
Oh man, spread my wings.
You know, but I get it. Like, and I feel for her because, but I also try to tell her like, hey, I'm not trying to do like the, oh, also me, but like we have all experienced it. Like, I have been stood up on dates. I've had horrific dates. I've had no responses where you start to be like, well, is it because I look this way or do this, or do I not have a good enough job, or do I not like, you know, you start spiraling. It's inevitable. And I think that is a very natural thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, I was curious on this because like, again, thinking back on my own, when I had that stretch after my divorce and it was like, you know, most of my early 30s of just being single, I remember I would always get the commentary from the peanut gallery, everybody else in my life about like, oh, you should be dating and this and that.
Of course.
I started going on dates at a certain point. My sister was like my dating secretary. She ran my dating apps and then just would be like, Amy wants to go out. Are you interested? And da-da-da. And we, you know, whatever. But I would go on these dates, and because mentally I didn't want I didn't want to date. I didn't want a relationship.
Yeah.
I missed like general connection with human beings, and so I would
Sure.
like be in, kind of intrigued and be like, all right, I'll go out. Inevitably, every single time though, I would just, for the most part, kind of be the one that was just like, I'm bye bye. I'm not, because I just truly was not ready for it. And even when I met
Yeah.
Lex, I was not ready for it. That was just, she's persistent as all get out. And I mean, she's amazing first and foremost, but
I
like
mean,
she just,
duh.
she kind of went along and like, put up with my bullshit for a little while to kind of, till I switched that up. But I just, for your friend, I'm always kind of curious because like, again, I remember I didn't really know necessarily what I was interested in or looking for at that time, because it's just, you're like, all right, well, you're supposed to partner up, so let's see what's out there. And I'm
Sure.
much more of a relationship sort of person than just like, you know, fucking flaunting it around town sort of thing. But it didn't matter. Like I would always find a reasoning to get out of, seeing somebody, because I truly just like, I mentally was not ready for it.
Right.
So I didn't
Yeah,
know
and
for her,
yeah, she is. I mean, listen, she is super ready. She doesn't want to be with the wrong person, but the longer she's gone without being in that, sometimes it's tough too, because it's like when I was single, people would always be like, I don't understand. Or they start asking, like, well, don't you want to get married and have kids? I was like, well, step one is someone agreeing to meet me for a fucking drink or a coffee or whatever a walk.
yeah,
I need to have someone answer me
yeah.
first and foremost. So like, thank you. And
What was your
also,
batting average when you were, because were you meeting people mostly via dating apps?
I would say, so this was the other thing that they probably didn't have as much of, or some
Mm-hmm.
of the younger people in general, is that like, I did so much better when we were younger because,
Mm-hmm.
well, one, you're younger. The dating pool is larger, number one. Two, we didn't have apps when I was in my early 20s.
Wait, what do you mean the dating pool
Well,
is,
the
you say,
dating
larger?
pool, yeah, the dating pool is larger when you're younger. People are
Oh, just in
less,
terms of, okay, because people aren't
yeah,
partnered up. Gotcha.
yeah, because you're like in
Gotcha.
your early 20s, so there's like more options. There's more,
Mm-hmm.
more fish in the sea, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But
Sure.
I think that, so it was a little bit different in that sense. But when I was
Yeah.
30, I was like, all right, I guess I have to like do these apps and try to meet
Mm-hmm.
friends of friends and things like
Right.
that. And it just is hard. And then you get like stuck in your ways. And I think that's like part of the issue with my particular friend, or probably people in general, is like when you hit a certain age, you're like, these are the people I hang out with. You're not like meeting fresh faces all the time.
Well, it's definitely, I would agree with that. I also think there's, again, people are a little, little weathered at a certain age. So they come with, whether you want to call it baggage or not, but it's just like,
Sure.
I remember the first time that like I had gone out with someone that had a kid, and that was like a new thing for me. Or the
Totally.
first time I had gone out, dude, I went out with someone that was in like a polyamorous relationship sort of thing. I
Uh,
was just like interested. I was like, what is up with this?
sure.
And I mean, went date one, and I was like, this does not make sense.
Yeah.
But more power to you. But
But I have friends that
I,
have done that too. And I'm like, all right.
they've done the polyamorous sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
There was some thruple. There was some
I think
thruple
that's a big. I
action.
think that's a. Oh, actually, I think I heard tales about this.
Hmm.
Maybe or maybe not the same person, but
Yeah.
anyhow,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like that's a slippery slope, because
Totally.
the more people involved, somebody's going to get a little bit of a different feels that then
Hmm.
all of a sudden it's I don't know. But let me ask you this: why do you think there's such difficulty around the dating apps now these days? Because I have my own interpretation of this because I went through it, but I'm just curious your side of it. Like, why is it so much harder, you think, for people to
Uh,
find genuine connection?
I mean, I can really at the moment only speak for myself and maybe like a little bit for my friend. But for me,
Mm-hmm.
it was, I mean, you're solely judging people by what they look like. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it is so like, I mean, it's the same like the internet in general. It's like every person that you look at has like when you're looking at females, let's say, it's like the lips are done, the makeup's perfect, the filters are perfect, all these are perfect. And now I'm on an
Mm-hmm.
app being like, hey, I'm Alicia and I'm into
Right.
hiking and the beach. And it's like,
Right.
no one knows that like I have like maybe like a good personality behind what I look
I thought you
like
were going
and
to say
all
nobody
these
knows that I
things.
have a growth.
No, ew. Nobody knows that I fart nonstop. No, it's like,
Yeah.
no, but it's like, I'm always good in person. I always feel
Hmm.
like it's so it used to be so refreshing, especially when you were younger, because the only way to meet people is when you were like out and about, right? And
Yep.
like when you like shake someone's hand and you're chit-chatting at a bar, let's say, and you meet somebody, you've already had that awkward quote first date that what like the apps are now providing, where there's
Hmm.
just not like we're not like the apps are also you're like texting with somebody for like 2 months and then you hang out and you're like,
Hmm.
they fucking suck.
Yeah.
And or the flip side where you're like, wow, I had a great time, and then you never hear back from them and you're like,
Hmm.
sick. That I'm
Yeah.
so glad I wasted 2 months texting a fucking stranger
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
and for whatever. So I just don't think that you get like a genuine take on another human.
Hmm.
And then you're like, okay, we matched, we've been chit-chatting for however long, going back and forth, and then you hang out with them and you're just like, I just have to sell myself to this.
Yeah.
It's such a weird feeling and a weird concept. Now, with that being said, that is how I met Jerry. It wasn't
Yeah.
this fairy tale of a
Lex slid into my
meeting.
DMs on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah, so like it there's tons of success that comes out of it. There's tons of ways to do it. I
Hmm.
just it is not a genuine portrayal of like another human. Like I, because I would spiral and be like, oh, I'm so ugly and I'm so this and nobody wants to swipe on me because of X, Y, and Z. And how could I
Mm.
be better in my photos? And then you happen to have a photo with a friend and they're like, hey, you seem nice, but your friend with the blonde hair is super cute. And you're like,
Got to cut that
suck.
bitch out.
Yeah.
Crop.
So
Yeah.
yeah, bye bye.
I think the biggest thing of why I had issues with, well, there was a handful of things why I didn't love the dating apps, but the one thing that I always was able to kind of pinpoint is, so somebody like me with my personality, right, where I can be pretty introverted,
Mhm.
but when if I have to like get the energy and the balls to approach somebody out in public and engage them well enough to then like kind of ask them out on a date, like my level of investment is already through the roof. Like I've already kind
Yeah.
of like physically seen someone, I had to get the nerve, and I'm doing the thing, right? Like that's
Hmm.
a very scary thing of like in person potentially being rejected or laughed at. But like my investment is there versus looking at my damn screen and just
Yeah.
swiping left or right. Like it, it's almost of that. Then when the first date would come, especially from like a dating app perspective, I have little to no investment in this person. So I was already then immediately kind of looking for like, what are the red flags? Like, what are the reasons why I'm not going to want to date this person?
Right.
And there was a litany of things that then would like bubble up when I was dating that I was just like, you're done, you're done, you're done. Let's go, let's go.
Yeah.
But I also, there was like a couple of girls that I had met just, I remember organically during that time. And I had been out and seen them and approached them and just had to fucking get the balls and go do it. And like
Yeah.
those were literally ones that they never materialized in anything, but they definitely had more of a longer tenure. And I felt like I was more invested in that individual and getting to know them and kind of
Yeah.
letting them get to know me. And to your point, like it's exhausting doing the whole dating thing anyhow. You are
Yeah.
selling yourself. But
Yeah.
because I'm more invested in that person, I just had more energy and I felt like I could give them more of my time to do that and then to kind of see if this is something or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's that,
I
at least
mean,
for me.
we have like friends or friends of friends that are like serial daters. Like they will go on the apps and they will set up 4 dates a week. I'm like, I am not going out that much. You
That
are
sounds
out of your,
exhausting.
I am so tired for you. That
Yeah.
sounds terrible, but they're so invested in meeting a partner. And I think the important thing for me was
But
like,
are they looking for a partner or to how you tag them? They just enjoy dating. They enjoy
I,
like the freshness, meeting somebody new,
no,
kind of like it.
I
Okay.
need a partner. Like that was their like we have one like acquaintance that was
Hmm.
like dating 4 dudes at the same time to pick which suitor is the best. And it's like
I
that is dating, right? And like and I guess like that's sometimes what people did. But it's like, then you look at like grandparents and they're like, I've known your grandpa since we were 14 and this is my person and I'm not looking anywhere else.
I mean, social media and technology, again, I think is like big tech ruins everything that they touch. But it is one of those things because, like, you had mentioned it again of like in your 20s, why I asked you to clarify of like a bigger pool of people, which, yes, people are maybe not as partnered up. But now, like for us coming into our 30s with dating apps, I feel like you just have this infinite pool of people that you can choose from, which, again, then I think going through the dating regimen, and especially for your friend who's like, I'm lining 4 dudes up, battle royale, let's see who wins. I could be totally missing the mark on this, but I feel like, again, you're trying to pinpoint red flags to distill down versus like, I want to find the good in this one. I'm invested in this person, even if it's 1 or 2 people, but like, as opposed to like, well, who's going to fuck up first and then you're out sort of thing. I don't know. It just feels like a rocky road to success.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
Maybe I'm wrong.
What?
I said, maybe I'm wrong. Who knows?
No, I mean, I don't know. I think the whole thing it's just really, I think it's really complicated. I think like the app, for me, I thought the apps were absolute fucking bullshit.
They're garbage.
I thought they were such garbage and such a letdown. And well, as I say that, and I'm like, I met my boyfriend on an app.
I said,
what a letdown.
Lex slid into my DMs on Instagram.
5 years later, I'm like, what a piece of shit.
Well, I mean, but they truly are. I mean, like it is one of those things of, like you said earlier, there's a ton of people that start to just do a little bit of, they just beat themselves up because they start to find reasons for why they're not getting, quality people or this and that or yada. But the apps themselves, they're like the model for those apps. I didn't coin this, but I think it's like shitification is like the term. Have you heard this?
Mm-mm.
So the only way these companies, they're losing money hand over foot sort of thing. But the only way that they make money is by getting users. So what they do is they set like a super low bar. Like this is free. They also call it like freemium, where it's like, it's free. Come use it. It's great. They get you to sign up. As soon as they get you to sign up though, they put everything behind a paywall. You got to do this and that. Like the experience itself of using the app becomes so monetized and such a business thing that again, it's not like this. Like I remember I would hear people talk about like, this is our generation, but like way back in the day, OkCupid, like when it first came on the scene, fucking people loved OkCupid. But again, it was like one of those things where it just was like this huge database of people that had signed up, and they would have these like really long, like you wrote like a novel on there about yourself.
I know.
But did you use OkCupid?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I think the first, I think like Tinder was probably like the first thing I ever used.
I got one of my buddies was like, what was the fucking fish one? That dumb ass?
Oh, Plenty of Fish.
Yeah, that was so horrible.
I was like, I think I tried Plenty of Fish, and then there's like Hinge and Bumble. I think people are still, then there's Raya.
Yeah.
Which is like, it used to be a lot harder to get on. Yeah, it used to be a lot harder to get on, but there's a lot of us that get on there and it's probably not successful. But I don't know. I mean, listen, dating is like, I can't imagine right now, if I were to be single again, what the fuck I would do. You know, I don't think that's a reason to stay in a relationship for people, for the record. But I mean, I can't imagine having to go do that again, especially at my age. And listen, I like to go out. I like to have a good time. But the reality is that I am not going out, and like the thought of being like, all right, Tuesday, I'm going to go on a date with so-and-so, and then so-and-so wants to meet up on Saturday. Like, I'm already tired. That already sounds too, like, I am very non-committal these days. Like, people are like, hey, what are you up to next Saturday? Like, trying to have like a birthday party. I'm like, can I let you know by the end of next week?
I thought this was your thing, though. I thought you go out too much.
I am, but I'm becoming more, I like leave things loose. which is a really shitty
The
quality
loosey goosey.
right now. I'm like, yeah, totally. I'll like let you know. But I also say that to like 45 people, and then I have to decide which one I'm going to do. So I'm always going to do something. I just have like too many things coming at me where it just sounds overwhelming.
You're just breaking hearts out there then.
Yeah, I'm just so cool. No.
What when you were dating, what would be like your top 3 most like toxic traits that you would call out?
On me or them? No.
No, for you. For you. In terms of that, like if all of a sudden if someone started to exhibit these, you're like, done.
Oh God, that's a really hard question.
It's hard?
Well, I feel like it's hard, like just being put on the spot, like top, like because I'm a dick, and it'd be like also like how they're dressed, like it would like it's not a toxic trait.
So,
it's not a toxic trait. It's just like if they roll up with like.
It's your toxic. Yeah, and just tell me. I want to know what is unacceptable from you. From like, what's their garb? What are they wearing?
Oh, just like honestly, it could be down to their sunglasses, which is so shitty. Like if they have like
if they got like some
like Oakleys on, or like some like they have like
what, some Vipers?
Shitty, yeah, just like shitty Oakleys. I don't know. Like I have like a look I feel like I like, but like I don't know. Like if they're in like a polo, I'm like, no, thank you.
Oh, no polo. So no Ralph Lauren. No J. Crew.
No preppy.
No boat shoes.
I feel like boat shoes.
Well, doesn't Jerry have a pair of boat shoes?
I was just gonna say. I was like, I feel like boat shoes aren't like so bad. No, but I would.
Boat shoes are fine, but not the top garb that typically comes with boat shoes. You're not wanting, yeah. Okay.
Why am I having a brain fart on like toxic things during a conversation?
All right. Well, let's play the scenario out. So you go on a first date. You're meeting some guy. Yep. What typically, again, would be the thing? So you first off, you're saying just like visual kind of like look over.
One, I would love someone to plan it. And I know that sounds so shitty. Okay. And so like, I just feel like I plan a lot of things. Like it'd be nice to be like, I have this weird traditional, like old school thing, which I'm also like not on so many levels, but like, I don't know, someone to be like, hey, made a reservation, we're going here. Or I'm picking you up, and next thing you know, we're at like a cool park and like set up a day. It's
nice to feel kind of taken care of. I get it. Okay.
And I know vice versa, that's a nice thing. But
Yep. Okay. So they planned a date. You're meeting them out, right? They passed in the second test, so they're wearing appropriate clothing that you're like dressed. This is good. What would be something from just like a personality stance for this individual that if all of a sudden they did this thing or they didn't have that you'd be like, shit, that's not great.
I mean, work. I mean,
wait.
Actually,
it's bad if they work.
No. Like if they don't have a good job. Actually, it's really funny because I have to me one of the worst date experiences I have heard of from a lot of people. I feel okay.
Let's go. I might have a.
So this is going to be able to. Well, yeah, maybe not. But this was my personal worst dating experience I've ever had. So this guy hitting me up constantly, like we like matched, and he's like, we gotta hang out, and I was like, I'm just not ready. My friends were like, Alicia, it's time to get out there, you should go meet this guy. And I was like, fine, fuck it, whatever. So he goes, all right, let's meet at this place. He was gonna plan it, and he was like, let's meet at the Rainbow Room. Now I want to let you know, if you don't know what the Rainbow Room is, it is,
I know of,
it is like metal bar / restaurant, very well known from like the 60s, 70s. Like every band has cruised through there. Like
stomping. Remy was always at the bar, like playing on the.
So Motorhead, So he was like God there. So
he's a staple there.
It's funny that you say that because that's part of the story. So this guy's like, meet me here. And I was like, okay. So I like Uber over there. I'm like, whatever. It happens to be the day after he died. Lemmy. He died. And so we're going to the bar where he has a bar stool and he is God there. So essentially I walked into like a funeral because it's super busy, but he's got this little corner thing. He's talking about PBR. He orders PBR, which I'm also like, that was kind of like a red flag to me because I was like, ew, you don't even like
Your
good
date?
beer. They pay my bills. I don't want to drink it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my date, so he's like going on and on. There's all these people there for Lemmy. It's like whatever. So he starts to go on and goes like, oh, like must be so cool working for PBR, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, sure. It's like it's cool, like it's whatever. And he's like, are they hiring? And I was like, what do you mean? So now he's asking me if PBR is hiring because he doesn't really have a job right now.
There's
And
a job interview. This is great.
he's in a bad way. He's like staying on a friend's couch. It's all these things. Good looking guy. Sure. That's cool. So now I've already I've walked into this place that's like a bunch of dudes with long hair, biker jackets, all the things.
Right.
He's already asked me for a job. He also said that he's like, please come out. I'm going to take care of we'll get some food. We'll do all the things, yada, 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 yada. I'm like, cool. He orders mozzarella sticks. And I was like, oh, yum. Yeah, fuck you. Mozzarella sticks. I don't know how do you say it.
Mozzarella?
Out of mozzarella.
Yep. There we go.
So he orders mozzarella sticks. And I was like, oh, so this is you taking care. Then he's got all these PBRs. He's taking like a shot of whiskey. I'm like, we're already going downhill.
Yeah,
next thing you know, these guys behind us are like literally adult men, adult biker men crying about Lemmy, him being dead. My date starts crying about Lemmy. Then, I'm not joking, I got pulled into a group cry hug. Group of 6 adult men pulled me into a group hug to cry about Lemmy. I was like, no, I don't care. Oh
like,
no,
it sucks, but
that's terrible. But no, this is weird.
Yeah.
So anyway, we keep going, and I go upstairs to go to the bathroom, and I call my old roommate, and I was like, yo, I don't know what to do. I got to get the fuck out of here. There's no window in the bathroom. I am trapped. I'm upstairs. I need to get the fuck out of here. I've never in my life wanted to walk away from a date. So then so the bar was off downstairs to the left, let's say. I go inside upstairs, and I was like, okay, I can technically go down the stairs, book it to the right, and be out. And I'm going to fucking leave. I'm just going to run down Sunset, and I'm going to get the fuck out of here, and then I'll call an Uber. Well, I walk down the stairs with that plan, and he's at the bottom of the stairs. He's like, he's like, so funny. I thought you left. Ha ha ha. And I was like, I was going to. So being awkward, he's like, let's go next door and just grab a little more food or whatever. And I was like, I already thought we were having a feast. You got mozzarella sticks, all these things. We go next door. We order 2 slices of pizza, 2 beers. Yeah. He asked me if he can finish my slice. And then I gave him my pizza. I was like, you can just have it. We're good. Yeah. And then the bill came. I'm not joking. It was like $14 because we got the cheapest beer and a slice. And he was like, he put his card down. He's like, can split it? And I was like, perfect. No problem. And so then we left. And then
do you not feel comfortable in those situations just to be like, this isn't working for me. I'm out.
I feel like I do now, and I didn't then. I didn't even want to go on the fucking date.
Did it all the time.
In hindsight, I'm like, you're a fucking bozo. You should have been like, dude, I'm not feeling this. I don't know. Yeah. I just wanted to finish I don't know. I thought I had to finish the date. And I was like,
all right. So you don't, let's go back to toxic traits. They have to pass the garb test. They have to be dressed in some way that you like. You want to feel like that you're being taken care of. Plan a date. Take care of the bill. Potentially,
I don't mind paying half.
No, that's fine. But I'm saying it's nice to feel treated, sort of thing. Like if it's a first date, you don't hate the idea of someone not being a cheapskate and taking you out.
No, I think that's awesome.
Yeah. And they can't cry around other.
Please
men.
don't fucking cry.
Okay, there we go.
Don't cry. Boom. I don't want to hear that you live with your mom or you're sleeping on a fucking couch. That's always fun. Want the positive things. I want to know. You can
go over for a sleepover.
Yeah, what do you do for fun? All this dude did for fun, it sounds like.
Lock mommy in the bedroom.
Yeah, drink beer and doesn't have a job. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? And then he was like, hey, what are you doing for New Year's? I was like, get out of here. Bye.
I would have, as soon as I would have came out of the bathroom and if he would have been there, I'd just have been like, buddy, I'm out.
It was just terrible.
Yeah, I know I'm never going to see you or talk to you again. I'm out. Later.
No, I wanted to
Yeah.
crawl out the window and I couldn't because it was on the second floor and I didn't know what to
Yeah.
do.
Well, all right. Well, that's a good one.
But anyway, what's yours?
For what, toxic traits or worst date
No,
story?
what's your worst date story?
I had a couple that were pretty bad. I'd probably say the worst that I had, I was in Seattle. I had taken like a month off of work, and I just was taking a motorcycle trip because I lived in Portland at the time. And I went all the way up to Canada, and then from Canada went all the way down to LA, and then came back. But I was in Seattle. Bike breaks down, so I'm stuck in Seattle for like 2 nights. I got a shop that's like gonna get me back up and running. I then go and stay with my aunt who lives in Seattle. I just got fucking lucky, that it just happened. But so I crashed with her. She has a roommate. Her and Karen, her roommate, have never done the dating app thing. So, and I was on it at the time. So we're all sitting out back. We're drinking, we're smoking, having a good time. And so they were super curious. And I was like, here, I handed them my phone. I was like, go to town. I go, my sister already sets these up. I go, you guys going ahead for it.
Find me someone.
Whatever, do your thing. So within 5 minutes, they've literally locked me in on a date for that night with this woman, right? So I'm 30, I don't know, 32, 33 at that time. She's like 48, 49. So she's a little bit older than me. I like older women though too. So I was like, I'm down for this. This is fine.
Oh.
So I meet her downtown. I catch an Uber. We go downtown. It was like, first off the bar, because I was like, you choose it. I have no clue where the hell we're going. It could not be more. It was like just this big bumping, like rowdy fucking spot that I want to go sit in a dark hole and talk to somebody. That's like what I want to do or whatever. So we get in there, a lot of flashing lights, a lot of music. I'm not loving it. We go and we pony up to the bar, and she is very immediately making it known that she is here to take care of me. She is a sugar mama on this thing, and I'm along for the ride. So she's like, what do you like to drink? I'm like, I want a whiskey. She gets me 2 whiskeys, both like, she starts me off with like a Basil Hayden, and then there's like some like Thomas Jefferson Reserve that she's like, get him a glass of that. Make it a double.
Shit.
So we're sitting
I've heard
there.
nothing bad yet, by the way.
So far it's fine. Besides that, I'm really annoyed on the location. Like it's just, I'm not loving life.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, why do I have a fucking phone call right now? Hold on one sec. Go away.
It's probably your wife and child. You're like, go away.
No, who is this? Cora Anderson. Let me.
It's the woman from the bar all these years later. She's like,
how amazing would that be?
Hey, what are you up to?
Also, why is my phone not on fucking do not disturb? That'd be great. Let me do that. Fucking. Well, this just derailed whatever momentum that story had. All right. So anyhow. So I hated the bar. The bar was like fucking horrible. But
Sure.
She's then throughout like the next half an hour, she's constantly like rubbing my head and rubbing my back and telling me like how good looking I am and how like she just wants to take care of me and all this. And, like, dude, there could not be anything less attractive to me than someone just like oozing out this sort of fucking persona like from the jump, right? So finally, we've been sitting there, and I'm probably like 3 whiskeys deep. And she literally starts talking. I'm so awkward in the conversation from just her touching me and everything. And so I'm like, I literally start asking her, I'm like, so I'm like looking to diversify more my portfolio. Like, do you have any recommendations? Because she like I'm literally trying to talk about the most non-sexy shit that I can to this woman. Oh, and she was like the CTO for like was it like Blue Cross Blue Shield or whatever the anthem?
Oh yeah,
she's like the chief technical officer for one of these companies, right?
Damn.
So she's like, you diversify. Oh, we can buy you jewels. She starts talking about she's going to buy me jewels and all this shit too. And I'm like, dude, I'm done.
Should I go on a date with her?
Fucking, she's all yours, dude. So I finally like turn to her, and she keeps then kind of hinting of like, we should get out of here. We should get out of here. And I was like, look. I go, you're very nice. Like, tried to like take her hand off me, and I was like, "You're very nice, and I really appreciate this, but whatever you think, it's not going to happen. Like this is just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So if you want, like, I'd love, like, we can hang out. Let's do one more round. It's on me. I'll treat, and really appreciate it." Dude, she immediately just fucking goes from 0 to 100 and gets so pissed. And so she's sitting there and she turns away. We're ponied up at the bar. She turns away from me. She starts talking, so like basically yelling, talking about how big of an asshole I am, in that she just wanted to, I'm not even going to use like the terminology she was saying, but how she wanted to get hers and I'm not going to give it to her. And then she starts grabbing there's just like, the bar is huge. So there's like 4 or 5 bartenders. She's talking to all of them about, hey, do they want some? Because this piece of shit over here doesn't want to get it. So I'm awkwardly just like trying to turn away while I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
She then is like very matter of fact of like getting her Uber, slams her phone down on the fucking bar so that it's very apparent that her Uber is coming, and I should be aware of this. As soon as it's finally here, I guess, there's a woman that comes up to my other side of me, and I was right next to, where people are coming up to the bar to order drinks or whatever, and she just like happens to say hi to me. The other lady next to me that starts being like, "Fuck this guy. You don't want to talk to him.
Oh, yeah. Girl power.
Dude, I could not have been more uncomfortable in that situation. Mm-hmm. So then she gets her purse and she gets her stuff and she's just yelling at me. And she's like, "Fuck you, you piece of shit," and leaves to go. And I'm like, still sitting at the bar like a scared baby calf. I was just like, what was that experience I just went through? One of the bartenders could not have been more nice. He came up to me. He gave me a free shot. And he was just like, "This is for you." And I was just like,
you're like, I don't even live here.
Dude, it was so uncomfortable.
Awesome.
I could not have been more uncomfortable in that situation. Oh, yeah.
I actually love that. It's a good story.
It was not fun, man.
I know. But, mine cried and asked for a job. So I don't know.
The applying for a job is pretty good.
I think I don't know what I'd rather have. So what was the red flags? What were the red
for her or in general?
Yeah. I'm just kidding. I mean, it just like depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for cash, like the red flags are not as apparent. Like I think the red flags come not always first. Like first date, I feel like the obvious red flags are, are they not? I need to have a good conversation. So like if I'm not having that,
communication's big. Yep.
Communication's big, which is hilarious because we are constantly in my relationship working on communication.
I think communication's huge. You got to have a sense of humor too.
Correct.
If I know from the jump that you're super rigid or you have a bad sense of humor, I can't get past that.
I've dated people that, okay looking.
Yeah.
But they were so funny. And that was the part that like when it came to the apps that always like tripped me up, because I'm not saying I'm hilarious or like any of these things, but I was like, I think like my personality could for sure like outweigh, maybe they didn't like my, my eyebrows, or I don't fucking know.
Well, that's fucking.
I don't have eyebrows.
So superficial. We're all like.
That's what I mean.
I'm gonna look like a dog shit in a couple years. So
100%. My body is completely different than it was 10 years ago, and 10 years before that, and all the things. And this is a little lower, this is a little higher. Like I don't fucking know. But oh man, that's so good. I mean, dating's awkward. Dating's so awkward. And like I said, I tell my friends all the time. Like I have a friend that won't do the apps. She's just like. She knows exactly what she's looking for. And I was like, all I can say is that good luck, because there's not that perfect person. And like, you want him to look like this, you want him to make this much, you want him to dress like this. He's got to have all these things checked off. And at our age, you are not always going to find that. They may be divorced, which is not a problem. They may have children, which is not a problem. But if those are the things that you are also looking for, that you do not want, good luck as we get older.
Well, I think that's what I was going back to earlier with your friend. And if we talking about the same friend right now?
This is a different friend.
Oh, okay. Well, I think it's like you have to be in a mindset and a mode of where you have realistic expectations and you truly are like looking for someone. You're looking for the good in someone, not just being like,
Yeah.
again, let me just discard all of these horrible, horrible, horrible people. It's like, well, no, how about you narrowly focus in on just trying to find one person
Yeah.
that you have genuine interest in and then build on that and see. Yeah.
I mean,
So,
there were some red flags when I started dating Jerry, but then there was like certain things that were so amazing that I didn't have in other relationships where like I could communicate and do all these things in past relationships, but like I didn't necessarily have anybody that wanted to like be adventurous and go do
yeah,
things
yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah.
didn't like X, Y, and Z. And then I found a partner that I was like, all right, we need to work on this because it's super important, but it's got
Yeah.
all these other things. Yeah, I don't love this or I don't love that, but for
Sure.
fuck's sake, I'm sure there's a plethora of things people don't like about me.
I
I
mean,
don't need to hear
yeah.
them, but
I always remember my top red flags when I would be going on dates. So so we talked about communication was one of them. Like again, sense of humor is another one.
yeah,
The other
sure.
one, which I got a lot, I don't want to hear about your anger problems from the
Oh my
jump and
God,
your
stop.
anger problems towards men. I cannot tell you what like made my dick shrivel more than if you're on it's a first date.
That's
and like
crazy.
the whoever it is that I'm going on a date with is immediately telling about all of their horrible stories with men and
No, I
how
don't want to
they
hear that
haven't
either.
and they have an anger towards just men in general. And so I'm just kind of like,
We're off to a bad start. Why are you here?
yeah, what are we doing? That's
Yeah.
a number 3. Number 4,
That's a good one. Oh, here we go.
don't on a first date show me 100 different photos from your phone and just be talking about all of these different experiences or stories or your
This
dog.
is when I went to.
Dude, I had that happen so many
That's
times
funny.
of where like the conversation would just be of someone being like, "Oh, here's a photo of my dog Bowser. Oh, this was when like me and my friend went to Nepal." And then I'm just like, I don't want to sit here for an hour and just be looking at photos on your phone. Like,
That's
what are we
because she
doing?
can't have a good conversation. Probably she can't.
Not
hold a
at all. But
conversation.
it happened more than
That
a
is
handful
so
of times,
funny.
though, dude. So those were like my 4 right off the jump. That I just if you're doing any of those, I'm out. I'm
I
done.
mean,
Or
yeah,
get drunk. I definitely had a
yeah.
few ladies that just got turd on a first date.
I also think like there's like, especially with the dating apps, you can kind of like, I've had people that were like, I'm looking to hook up. Like, you want to come have a drink?
Which is great. I would be like,
sure.
thank you for that.
I
Yeah.
like full transparency.
Yes.
That is like, so like for me, don't like pussyfoot around. Like if you're looking to get laid, just like put it out there. Let us know like, hey, just a heads up, not really looking for anything serious, but you seem pretty cool and I'd like to hang out. Great. I know what I'm getting into when I meet you for a drink.
Yep.
But when I get there and then all of a sudden it's like I wonder what you look like with your shirt. I don't know. Like it's like a dumb comment about like my tits or something like that. You're like,
Jesus.
Oh, I see why did you tell me this? Because when I said I'm looking to meet somebody and I'm looking to date, you said, cool, me too. And now it's the first time we're hanging out and you're telling me, I wonder what it's like to be in your pants or whatever comment they're making. And you're like,
that's ballsy, dude.
You know, what's funny is maybe I still would have met you, but I wouldn't have known what road we're leading down.
What percentage of times did that work for you?
I don't know. Depend on how long the last date was.
You go, here we go. Let's go.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
No,
dude,
but that's the thing. I was like, be honest. Like that is all. Like if I catch you in a fucking lie or I catch you fibbing about something, like I'm out. I can't do it. I'm not uninterested. I want a good conversation. I want something that, I want just full transparency.
What was your worst breakup you've ever had with somebody? And this could be from somebody that you've just been dating for a little while and you're cutting ties with, or this could have been like a little bit of a long, but the most awkward or weird that you had to get out of. You remember?
I don't know. I mean, I've had like a shitty, like younger relationship that was like terrible, but I'm trying to think like date wise or anything like that. I don't know. Nothing was like that traumatic really. I mean, I've had some long-term relationships. Like, you know, my last boyfriend was like 5-ish years. I've been with Jerry for about 5-ish years.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say it wasn't pleasant, but like my last boyfriend, his best friend's married to my best friend. So 6 months later, we had to be in their wedding as maid of honor and
You
best
mentioned this,
man.
yeah,
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 that
yeah,
was
yeah.
really fun. And then
That's
they're like,
fun.
hey, by the way, no one else in the wedding party, just the four of us are taking the ride from LA up to Malibu, and we're
It's
going to do
fun.
all these things. I was like, this is going to be
Yep,
so cool.
sounds great.
That was really cool. So I
Yeah,
really enjoyed that.
yeah.
But I don't know, nothing like overly traumatic. I'm like pretty good. Well, listen, ending a relationship, I'm always like a fucking like spiteful little bit. Sure.
Mm,
Like I think you're mad that this didn't work or that didn't work or things didn't go out.
mm.
But as far as like dates, I was pretty good about like I dated this person for a bit and I'm gonna kind of like it is what it
You
is. What am I gonna
ghost?
do? I'm not gonna like lose sleep. No, I'm not really a
No.
ghoster. I
Yeah.
will tell them eventually, but I will tell you in a text because I don't have the balls enough to call you and tell you to your face.
I actually don't mind that in a text because where's that conversation going to go? It's one of those
What does
things
it
where some people,
matter?
well, that's exactly, some people are like, you don't have the balls. It's like, well, no, you're literally telling someone, I'm not, like, we're ending whatever this is. So just, I send this, you read it, we're done. Maybe you send me a thumbs up, but like, that's it, dude. Like, we're good. We're done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
So nothing really too crazy. I don't know if you have had a situation like
Uh,
that where,
No, I mean the worst that I had. I mean, there was a handful from just being single and dating. I wouldn't say that they were like critical, but I had a long-standing relationship when I graduated college, moved back here because I was seeing this girl. I almost immediately knew that it wasn't a good thing for me, but I
yeah,
stayed in it for another year and a half because at that time I was such a pleaser, and so it became this thing of where
yeah.
every time I would get up the energy and the guts to be like, I'm done. Complete meltdown by this person, and basically like hanging on my feet, sort of thing of like, I'm nothing without you. And so then I would go, oh God,
Oh
I don't want to be
boy.
that person. So I'd be like, no, 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 it's okay. And then you're in the middle of like the reconcile hug, and I'm internally being like, you idiot, you just were
Mhm.
out of it. What are you doing? And I had gone through that a couple of times, which that was my own issues. I should have ended that much quicker.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, my last boyfriend, lovely human. We're friends now.
Yeah.
We see each other a lot.
Yeah.
Should have ended so many years. It should have
Yeah.
almost never started. We were
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
friends and it should have not really. But I always try to look on the bright side. I was like, listen, had I not stayed with him, I probably wouldn't have gotten out to California and then
Yeah.
life wouldn't have happened the way that it did. And I'm
Yeah.
very thankful, grateful, all the things. Like you can definitely you learn from the bad ones and you can learn from the good ones. So take a
Yeah. For
little bit
sure.
out of all those things. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the only thing. Like I tell my friend all the time, I'm like, she's like, how do you know when you really like somebody? I was like, dude, I don't know. I'm not a person that can give you this like amazing best advice. I just feel like you have to keep in mind that humans are not perfect. You are not perfect. I'm not perfect. They are not going to be perfect. So like try to find some of those good, really good qualities. If something is so bad that you just can't get over, that is another thing. But just like
Yeah.
keep in mind, like they might have this like squirrely little like, like I'm a communicator up front. My boyfriend is a needs to sleep on it and we'll talk about it at a later date.
Sure.
That is my happy medium.
Yeah.
That drives me fucking nuts,
Yeah.
but I know we can work on it and find a resolution
Yeah.
if it's not happening
Yeah. Sure.
in the
Yeah.
moment. So, it's just like those things that I try to tell her. I was like, but
Well, I think people get
yeah,
mixed up in this whole like one and only thing too. Like that whole mentality too of where it's just like it's a light bulb moment that goes off with
yeah,
somebody, and I'm like, to your point, it's not like there's what almost 8 billion, maybe at this point over 8 billion people here and there. Like there are a ton of folks that you could
yeah,
potentially date. Like that's just the reality of it. But when you find one that's a good one, and they just happen to make your life better,
sure.
fucking stick it out, dude. Have some balls. Put in the work. Do the
and
thing.
I think like in with some of like people who serial date and like that is totally fine. Like you want a partner, but like for me, I wanted to make it very clear too, without obviously coming off like a total like bitch. But I was like, I want to be with someone. I don't
Yeah.
need to be with someone. And I think for
Sure.
me, the most important thing that I did was after my last boyfriend, I was like, I am staying single. I'm going to be single. I need to be
Yep.
single. I need to focus on this. I am here for a good time. That is it. Like
Yeah.
we are not getting into anything serious. And obviously, like if something happened, that would have been another story. It did
Yeah.
not. But, I was like, I want to focus on myself. I was living alone for the first time. I was doing all those things. So I think it's just also really important before you could start getting into a serious relationship, be fully 100% content with who you are and what you want.
Yeah.
So
I think that's it. Good advice.
that's my advice.
Take it away, kids. Do that.
Yeah.
Go learn from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are the kids fucked because of dating apps? I feel like dating apps are going to go bye-bye.
100%.
I feel like they're going to go bye-bye.
I think the next generation is in so much fucking trouble with social media, trying to date. I think it's ruthless and nasty and mean.
I think it's going to, there's going to be a pivot, whether if it's a good pivot or a bad pivot, but
I hope there is a change to the fact that like it is illegal to put a filter on a fucking face or
well,
I don't know.
You got photo chameleons running around left and right. Dude.
I just feel like it's so bad for people's self-esteem and then they get rejected and it's all these things. Like, listen, I got rejected. There wasn't like, I didn't have to like look at their picture 24/7. I didn't have to see them ever again. It was out of sight, out of mind. Now it's just like all the reminders and it's just like, it's so crazy to me with I don't know what it looks like.
Yeah, I don't know. They'll figure it out. People will adopt.
And then there's like, the flip side, you got men being like unrealistic views on like what a woman really looks like. Or it's like, oh, they're OnlyFans or there's this. And it's like, oh my God, there's just so many
You all don't look
now.
like that? That's not real?
That's crazy. But yeah, it's wild. I don't know. I don't envy anyone, but I also don't agree. People need to stay in relationships, like I said.
They don't need to stay in relationships.
They don't need to stay in a relationship because because I think that happens, and I think that's happening probably more and more than people realize, and all the other things.
Yeah, a ton. I know,
and
I
it's
know
financial. Yeah, it's just I don't know.
The financial ease is what you're saying.
Well, I also think like finances are another piece of why people stay in a lot longer than they.
I mean, there's a ton where they're breaking up a family. If you've got kids, finance. I mean, hell, when I went through my divorce with it, I mean, that was a whole fucking thing with that. I thought I was going to get nailed to the cross, and luckily it didn't happen. Almost did, but didn't happen. But
it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, you have your shit, dude. But all right. Well, I think we did it.
Yeah,
it was good. We powered through technical difficulties and made it happen.
Yeah. How do you feel? Do you feel relaxed? Do you feel more stressed?
I'm good. I'm going to go work on the motorcycle a little bit more, be a total guy's guy for a little bit, douchebag, and go do that.
When are they back?
I don't know. It's a loose return date. I just asked Lex the other day. So they're supposed to, I mean, they're driving back from Oklahoma. But
like currently?
No. But it'll be sometime this next week. So.
Oh, so you have like the weekend to kick it.
I've had all week. I had since Monday was my
first day. But you had to work and stuff.
I had to work, and there's been a lot of emergencies that were happening. We had half the house, the power went out Monday morning. I'm running around for 3 hours trying to figure out what circuit got crusted. It was due to mess. Then I had the AC go out at the rental property, so I'm running over there for a couple days fixing that. Yeah, dude,
Oh, it sucks. Well, go get some rest. Go have some fun. Go have
a
Bloody Mary.
I feel like you're always telling me to get rest.
I don't know. You have a kid. I just assume you don't sleep a lot.
I definitely been sleeping in, which is nice. But
dude, go get like a fucking drink and then take a nap.
I would. Awesome. Yeah, I think it's a plan. The only problem is my bar here doesn't open till 4, so it's kind of a pain in the butt. But it's like 2 something. So
yeah, you're getting close.
Yeah, but
all right. Well, this is fun. I'll talk to you soon.
Later.
Go sleep.